Wonderful people, aviation enthusiasts, lovers of aviation history, welcome to another series of Q&A. Question: why do pilots have a hard time landing? Go and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend that Captain Amoah is here with another banger. Why do pilots have a hard time landing the aircraft? There are so many factors, but today we just want to specialize on something we call headwinds, crosswinds. Say it again: headwinds, crosswinds. Okay, the actual ideal situation is that anytime you are going to land at an airport, the ideal situation is that reasonable amount of wind should be blowing against you, when you are going to land. Landing and takeoff, we want a reasonable amount of wind to blow against us. It helps in the aerodynamics and how to get the aircraft up and down, etc. Okay, reasonable amount of winds here. So you can imagine, first factor, if the winds blowing ahead of us are too strong than the aircraft can cope with, you really have a hard time approaching the runway to land. So when I say strong headwinds, yes, that can also be a factor, where the winds are just blowing hard against you. What happens is that it slows the speed at which you are going to the runway. Once you slow the speed, the aircraft is beginning to say, I don't want to fly anymore, I don't want to fly anymore. So it starts to sink. Then you have to correct the sink. As you are correcting the sink, you are adding more power. As you are adding more power, the aircraft now says, okay, now you said I should fly, I'm flying. So it now begins to go up. We say balloon. The aircraft is just all over the place, and we call something we call an unstabilized approach. That can really unstabilize your approach, okay? In some scenarios, you even have to kind of take off again in layman's terms, go around the airport and come and try another approach. We call it overshoot. If, let's say, you are too unstabilized at a certain point. Okay, when you say your approach is stabilized, it's the way you are sliding down to the runway and the speed at which you are doing and everything. There are factors which we call stabilized approach. But if you have strong headwinds which is beginning to unstabilize your approach under 1,000 feet, you have to consider, we call it overshooting, go around the airport and come and try another approach. So first factor is strong headwinds. Then we also have that scenario where the winds are so strong either to your left side or to the right side, the left wing or the right wing, called the crosswinds. Okay, so crosswinds are even more, if I should say, unwelcoming than strong headwinds. Crosswinds is as you are tracking down the runway center line. Remember, our aim is to touch down on the runway center line. That's the middle of the runway. Okay, as you are trying to do so, as you are approaching the airport, either the wind to your left or to your right is trying to blow you off the runway. So in that sense, you are not approaching the runway itself, but that's if you don't correct. You are now heading somewhere out of the runway, and that could be very, very, very disastrous, depending on what is to your left and what is to your right. There could be buildings, there could be towers, there could be so many other things, antennas and all these kind of things. So the crosswinds, the strong crosswinds always also destabilizes your approach when it comes to tracking, that is heading towards the runway. Strong crosswinds can really make your approach unstabilized. You have a hard time because now you have to turn into the wind enough for it to just blow you back onto your track. It's not easy because as you are turning into the wing, we have some aerodynamic effects. The aircraft is not really straight, so you are now, as you are doing so, you are stepping on what you call the rudder to kind of fishtail like this. So you are banking like this, you are stepping on the rudder, and you are like this, and that too can have enough of an effect on your speed and everything. It's all long and short, like I said, can unstabilize your approach, and it gives you a hard time landing when the crosswinds are very strong. You will see on the video even what you call a 777 trying to land in the Manchester. Man.
November, contact Scottish 134.425, goodbye.
Scottish 4445, 78 November, bye-bye.
Engine wind shout 31022 knots. 5 Juliet 1, line up 239.
5 Juliet 1, line up right 23 right. EC 1 5 Whiskey Yankee.
American 211's with you at Juliet 1 in sequence, ready to go.
American 211.
As when the winds of the day are blowing either to your left or your right side, we call it a crosswind, and that can unstabilize your approach. So what have we learned today? Strong or stronger than normal headwinds. That's winds blowing ahead of you whilst you are trying to approach the runway, or strong or extremely strong crosswinds. That's winds of the day blowing, if it's blowing to the side, it's either the left or the right side of the aircraft. Headwinds, crosswinds. Keep this word in mind. Headwinds, crosswinds. There is a quiz program, aviation quiz program called Headwinds, Crosswinds. So keep that thing in mind. Headwinds, crosswinds. There are so many factors why an aircraft has a hard time landing, but today we've talked about headwinds, crosswinds. Stay with me on other videos. Peace.